Hi everyone! Welcome to my video today. My name is Glenda Mollet. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my blog is In My Craft Room. My Facebook page is In My Craft Room - Stamping with Glenda. And I'm here today to record our 3rd March 2019 club card video. And then we'll share it later on with the public. So this is the card that I'm going to make this time. And while you're looking at it, I'm just going to make sure it's oriented properly. I cased this card from Mary Detheridge and changed a few things to make it my own. Okay, so here's the recipe. We're going to use Memento ink and shaded spruce. Our blends are the Granny Apple Green combo, Mango Melody combo, and the Dark Pineapple Punch. And of course some Wink Stella, because you need bling. Thick Whisper White, Lemon Lime Twist, Whisper White, some Gingham Gala designer paper, a scrap of shaded spruce. The stamp sets we're going to use are So Hoppy Together and Perennial Birthday. Also need Gingham Gala sequins and the 1 3/4 inch circle punch. So we're going to use So Hoppy Together. This also comes with the Hop Around dies with Celebration Coordination 2019. You can order the dies to go with the stamp set, but I'm not going to use them today in this card. And the sequins, oops, where did my recipe go? There they are. The Gingham Gala sequins. You get them, and some of them are round and some of them are flower shaped. You get 5 different colors. Okay, so let's go. Put it over here so you can keep an eye on it while I'm stamping. Make sure you can see it. So this card has a peekaboo hole in it here. And if you look close, there's a piece of the Gingham Gala designer paper in behind. And you want to punch them both at the same time so you get the hole in the same place. So I'm going to do all of the stamping on the front first, then I'm going to layer them together, and then I'm going to punch them. And because it's 1 piece of cardstock and 1 piece of designer paper, we can punch them both at the same time. So the Happy Birthday is from the Perennial Birthday stamp set. And I'm just going to stamp it on the bottom of the piece, the white piece for the front. Make sure I get enough ink on there. Do you look at your stamps after you ink them up to make sure they're all shiny? I do. It saves a lot of, oh dear, that didn't stamp right, happening in your craft room. We're just going to stamp it right at the bottom there. Rub my finger over it back and forth to transfer the ink to the cardstock. There we go. And that's out of the way. And put my shaded spruce away. Now get out the Memento ink. And I'm going to stamp the bug first. Now there's some controversy about what this bug actually is. Is it a mosquito? Is it a moth? Like, what the dickens is that little dude? He's cute, whatever he is. And now I'm going to stamp the bugs. See, there's a set of 3 bugs, and they have bug eyes. I love it. I love it. So you kind of don't have an up and down with this stamp. It's just whatever looks good to your eyeballs. So I'm going to stamp one that way. And then I'm going to turn it and I'm going to stamp one this way. So they're all looking at their big brother, mosquito dude. I don't have to do the coloring right now. I can put it together before I color. So we're going to put some adhesive on here. And then layer it with this. The front is layering with the designer paper. Now I'm going to get my card base out just so I can make sure that I haven't gone past where it will be contained within the card. And I think that looks okay. Alright, I'm just going to rub it really good so that it adheres. Now I'm taking my 1 3/4 inch circle punch and I'm going to go in, and you want to line it up straight with this edge. Don't worry about what the designer paper is doing. You want to line it up straight with that edge. And not a whole punch, just part of the punch. And see how it is on here, it's just part of the punch. So let's give that a pop. And save that for another project. There we go. So that's all that is. It's not very hard to do. It's really cool. I call it a peekaboo hole card. Now I'm going to line it up where I want. There's no adhesive on this. We're just doing a dry run. Because I need to make a mark here where that circle is, so that when I stamp the frog and the bugs in behind, I'll be able to see them through the window. So this is the stamp I'm using. This one. Could use this one, or you could use that one. It doesn't matter which one you use. They all work. Ink it up with some Memento because we're going to use the Stampin' Blends to color it. Make sure it's nicely inked. And then you want to make sure that your body and your head are in there. We don't have to do any masking to get only part of him because the rest of it will be hidden in behind the card front. So if we put the card front back on, see, there we go. It's just that easy. Now put the bugs in there, and I want their eyeballs to go up. I want their eyeballs to go up as they're flying, and you want to make sure you get them inside the circle there. There we are. Now I have a little tiny piece of white to stamp the hay on, and then that's cut out by hand. So you don't really need this big of a paper, but I had a scrap left, so that's what I used. There we are. The hay is stamped. And I didn't get my shaded spruce piece. Just need a little tiny sliver of shaded spruce cardstock to make the stick part thing. So you make it as wide as you want, and then I'm just going to angle the bottom a little bit. So that's going to go right in his hand like that. And I don't want it to go down past the bottom. I want it to still be sticking up. Now, you just take your hay and hand cut that out. Hopefully it's going to be straight, because I'm not very good at cutting. We always used to tease my mum that she couldn't cut straight when she used to cut bread. It was always indented. We even got her one of those things where you set the loaf of bread in and it had guidelines. Yeah, it still didn't work. So there we are. That's what it's going to look like. So this, I've popped this up a bit, but let's get the coloring done first. I'm going to use Granny Apple Green to color the frog, and I always use the bullet end, which is the small stripe, not the brush end, because I like being able to control the flow of the color a little bit more. So I'm laying down a base of the light Granny Apple Green color. And in order to make these things blend like they're supposed to, you need to have a good base. Now the only problem with this card is if you put too much ink on it, it'll go through. So if you don't like that, you can always stick another piece of white cardstock inside. I'm just not going to blend this, so I don't need too much ink. I just need the regular amount. And you can also color this with your regular Stampin' Write markers, and then you wouldn't have the bleeding issue. Now I don't have to do any more of that leg. This part of that leg. This whole hand needs to be done. And part of him. And I think on this one I'm going to leave his belly white. I colored his belly on that one, but I think I'll leave the belly white. And I'm going to use the dark one just to color his dots. I did forget to do his tops of his eyes, whatever that is called, that area right there. There we are. Okay, now I'm going to use the dark pineapple punch to do the bug bodies. And some Wink of Stella. Don't forget to give your Wink of Stella a good shake before you use it. Just on the bodies. Like this. There we are. Now, take my eraser and get rid of that half a circle I drew there. I only drew it really lightly so that I could remove it when I have all of the stamping done. You can remove it before you color too, if you want to color the whole thing. There we are. Okay, so now we'll get the card front. Oh, I don't want to lose my hay. So let's just put that there. All right. Now, the dark pineapple punch again. And do the bug bodies. And I'm going to do the inside of this dude's body. And then I'm going to use the light Mango Melody to do the bug's body here, like that. And the dark Mango Melody just to do the rest of his wings. I love coloring. Coloring is my happy place. Some days I have patience and I can do the whole shading thing, but sometimes I don't want to shade. And if I'm not in the mood to shade, I don't do it because it never turns out. I'm using alcohol-based markers for quite a number of years now. I really enjoy them. And I'm so happy that Stampin' Up! Has brought out the blends because they're alcohol-based markers. Now I'm just putting the adhesive on the designer paper here because I don't want the white to kind of bend. I want it to be left free-floating. And a little bit of adhesive around the hole so the hole sits down. Now I'm going to line this up. Get everything straight so my eyeballs don't play tricks on me. Paying attention to where it's hitting the frog too. There we are. And get some Tombow, a couple of dots of Tombow on that. And then I'm just going to let it sit for a couple of minutes till that dries, because once Tombow dries, this Tombow, it doesn't ever dry completely because it has latex in it and you can use it as little tiny glue dots. It's the coolest thing. Okay, so now I need a strip of dimensionals to put behind my hay. There, so I'm just going to let that sit, and I'm going to, oh, you know what I did? On this one, I actually added an extra piece in there. Aha! See, that's why I don't see that in behind. Okay, so this is coming off. Ever so slowly. I guess you could just leave it that way, but let's just do it the way I did the first one. So this gets put on here like that. Apparently we have to do some more stamping. Do my half a circle. It's a good thing it's quick. Some days I really think I should stay in bed. Oh well. You get me in the raw. I am not a perfect stamper. I have fun doing what I do. Whoops! Did you see that? Just about had a disaster. Okay, the light granny apple green for the frog. And just quickly coloring him with the light granny apple green blends. Nice base coat on. Go around his freckles. Everybody needs to have colored freckles. If you're not watching this live, you could probably jump ahead and see what I did next, but okay, so I think that's it. Do his freckles. And do the bug bodies. Erase my half circle. There we go. Put this on here. Paying attention to getting it centered properly. Now put adhesive on the back because this now goes onto a layer of granny apple green. Wondering why I had so many pieces. That would be why. Because I didn't do it properly. There we go. Now this goes on the card base. And I'm just going to grab another base because that one has stamping on it that has bled through. Do you keep bases done in your craft room? I take mine down to a local printer and they cut them in half, and then all I have to do is score them. And they also do my 5 1/4 by 4 pieces, because as you know, I use one inside every card. So let's just angle this a little bit and put it down. And see how nice that is to stick when you get the tombow is dried. And put it straight. There's the hay. So there's the front. All I have to do is add the sequins on there. And I don't want pink and I don't want purple. Let go. I do have a few of the clear ones left. There's clear, but I'm going to save those in case somebody from my club wants to use them. So I'm just going to put a yellow one, a green one, yellow one, a green one, and then I'm going to put a round yellow one up here in this corner. Put those away. There we are. There's the card front. That didn't take too long to do. Now I'm just going to stamp the froggy dude on the inside and on the envelope. Like that. And now the envelope. Now if you color these, can't blend on the envelopes. The alcohol markers blend really well, but they have to have certain kinds of cardstock for blending or it doesn't work. The Stampin' Up! Cardstock has a white coating on it, and it has been one of the preferred cardstocks for people using alcohol markers for a very long time, because the ink soaks into the paper and allows the paper to get moist with the ink without drying out. Kind of keeps it, it's like it soaks it up without soaking in. Does that make sense? Probably not. But that's what happens. And then you can go back in with your darker color if you do light to dark like I do. Or you can put your dark on and then put your light on afterwards. So I'll show you on the inside one how I blend. So the cardstock allows the ink to stay active, so you can put your darker color on and do blending. Don't try to blend on regular cardstock because it won't work. It just completely soaks in and then dries out. And don't try to use cheap cardstock because that won't work either. You have to have specific cardstock for coloring with alcohol markers. So I'll do a little bit of shading on this one. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm laying down a base of light ink. And I always start light, put my dark on, and then go back over with my light. That's how I was taught many, many years ago to do it. So you have your base coat of light. Now I'm going to take my dark, and just where you think there should be a shadow, you just put a little bit of dark. And he doesn't have much shadow on his head. And then you go back in, and in a circular motion you do this, and what it does is it blends that dark ink in, so you don't get a definite line where the dark starts and ends. So we'll go on and finish his body now. And you can also, you can't do big areas either because your ink won't stay active long enough to actually work properly. So this one I'm going to do his belly, and that's where I'll do some shading, is on his belly. His arms are a little bit too narrow to do shading, but we can get some on him. And if you work in a circular motion where you can, you get the right amount of ink into your cardstock to do your blending. See how I'm doing a circular motion? Now I'll go back in with the dark and put some dark in there, and I'll just do some on the foldy parts of his legs and here, and maybe a little bit around the dots. Now I'm going back in with the light in a circular motion. I'm blending it in. And of course you can't do that on the legs because the legs are too small. So you just kind of do what you can there. Blend it in. And then I go around his freckles a little bit. And just put another layer all over the whole thing. And see, you can't tell where I've done the dark because it's all nicely blended in, but you still get to see the shadows. And it's all paying attention to where your light source is. So in this one, it's like my light source is coming from here because there's shadowing under his eyes and under his freckles and his tummy this way. If I was having the light source coming this way, then the shadowing would be completely different, and like this too. So when I started out, I used to leave something like this pointing so that I could always keep in mind where my light source is coming from. So for this one, the light source is here, so it leaves a shadow under his eyeballs and under his tummy. So that's just a quick and dirty little tutorial on how to blend with Copic markers. Sorry, with alcohol markers. The stamping blends. Copic is what I started with many years ago before Stampin' Up! Had the blend abilities, which was the first round of alcohol markers for Stampin' Up! And then they brought out the blends, and they are so nice. And they're relatively inexpensive. They're only, I can't get this straight, they're only $6 a marker, and you can buy the dark ones and the light ones in a combination or separately, so if you run out of your light one first, you don't have to order the combo all over again. So see how the difference in whether it's shaded or not shaded? It really gives that one a bit of depth. Okay, so the only thing I haven't done is my bug bodies with the Wink of Stella. Just put a little bit on the bellies of all of these. I choose not to think they're mosquitoes. They're little happy fairy bugs. And I'll put it here, the wings of the mother fairy bug, because I choose to believe they're fairy bugs. Okay, there we go. That didn't take too long to do, did it? It looks really cool, but it doesn't take you forever to do. So this one, I used a different frog on the front, and I put some bugs, and on the inside I did some more stamping as well. You got the stamps, you might as well use them. This one I just put the one frog. But he looks lonely. I think he needs some friends. Let's give him some fairy bugs. It's like he has bugs in his belfry. There. How cute. Of course, need to do his belly, their bellies. See, I could play forever, all day, coloring. It's relaxing to me. And you don't have to blend. You just have to have fun. There we are. That's done. I'm done. Try the Winky a bit. So there we go. There's our two cards. Quick and easy. So the frog stamp set is only available till the end of March, free with a minimum $60 order. The Gingham Gala designer paper is in the Occasions catalog, so it's available till the 3rd of June. I'm so glad you could watch my video. Thanks so much for spending time with me in my craft room. If you'd like to email me, gjmollet@shaw.ca, and the current host code, the non-club host code, is this one till March the 10th. And if you are part of my club, I'll be emailing you the links to these videos and the host code later today. Thanks for stopping in, and thanks for joining me in my craft room. Stamp and smiles, everyone. Thanks. Bye for now.